Okay, called order. We've got an echo going here. See if we can get that fixed.
It's fixed.
Is it fixed?
Yep.
Okay. First up, roll call.
Okay, Joe Mann. Tom Solberg,
Here.
Jim Bumker,
Here.
DG Garcia,
Here.
Charlie Jenks,
Here.
Phil Foyer,
I'm here.
Gene Hushel,
Here.
and Troy Moniz.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, next on Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on the agenda would be to review of the agenda. Any comments or corrections to the agenda? Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Move to approve. Second.
Second, agenda is approved.
We gotta do vote still.
Oh, can we have a vote on approving the agenda? Everyone in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, we'll go on to approval of the minutes from September 10th. Can I have a motion, or has everybody reviewed the minutes?
Actually, isn't it September 24th? It's just wrong on the agenda.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Was it September 24th?
September 10th. Yeah, it was September 24th.
Yeah, so it shouldn't
It's
say,
right there.
or it should say September 24th.
It does. The minutes. are
That's what the
September
minutes
24th.
say.
Yeah. Okay, well, can I have a motion to?
agenda says.
Yes.
Yes.
So can I have a motion to amend the agenda to say September 24th instead of September 10th?
Move to amend.
Second,
Second.
vote aye. Aye. Okay. So now we can go on to approval of the minutes as amended. Any discussion?
Move to approve.
Move to approve. Second. Somebody,
Yes.
we got a second. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next on the agenda would be the workshops, and that would be the sign code workshop. So who's going to take that over there?
That is gonna be Uniza. I'm gonna stop my share.
Okay.
And Uniza Produced from Burke is gonna be leading us through that.
All right, thank you. Can you hear us?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Michelle is here with us as well, and she's sharing the screen. So today we are going to go over a few items you have seen on your packet that we have called out for specific attention for the Planning Commission. So some of the highlights that I can mention are some definition sections, and then some of the window sign discussion, some of the awning, monument sign, a whole host of signs that we will be going through. So what we have done, we have called out, and then you will see that in your document, the light green highlight. Some of those highlights have been addressed by the Planning Commission, discussed by the Planning Commission before, and some are new. So I would think that the best strategy would be if we go through that and just make sure that we prioritize those call out and green highlights, if that works for all. Sounds okay?
The only thing is that it's not green in our.
Looks like it's blue.
Okay. The highlight is blue. Okay, so the text is blue, but there was a light highlight, so that might be blue at your end. Okay, so we will share our screen and we will go through that. Yeah, so that portion that Michelle is sharing, that's the highlight that we were talking about. So some of those are new, and some are changes that you had seen before. For example, on this page, the fueling and electric vehicles charging station, that was part of the discussion from the previous Planning Commission, and then we added that definition there. So Michelle, let's just scroll down. Yeah, so
As you
you
go
don't
to
have-
each page, can you please, as you go to each page, can you please let us know which page you're on. We have our packets with us.
Yeah, I think it's page 8. Yeah. So Michelle is on page 8, and the highlight that you are seeing on your packet is mural, and we have added a definition of mural. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. If that looks okay, then we could scroll through. Let's just scroll through that. There's a call out up above, Michelle, on page 9. So I also wanted to point out that city staff had discussed with stakeholders, Joe Frank, and you'll see some of the changes based on those discussion. So the residential zone, that's to clarify that R1, R2, and R3 zoning districts are residential, and the River District has mixed use. So some of those, when we are talking about residential zone, that would be applicable particularly to these zones, just to clarify. All right, so let's scroll down. That's another, I think we are on page 10 now, Michelle, right? Yeah, on page 10. Same here, we have some clarification notes added per discussion with Joe Frank. And then there is, if we scroll down, the drive-through menu selection sign. So so this was the permit exempt sign, and previously we had drive-through menu signs exempt, and we are now recommending that those should require at least a registration or some sort of permitting. If there's any question, we can discuss. Okay, let's scroll down. So this is again added per discussion with Joe Frank. So it's more of a clarification what is commercial off-premise signs. That's that. And then I think this green highlights you had seen before. It's again clarification on spotlights. Any discussion on this page?
I'm sorry, what page are you on?
On page 11.
Yeah, I had a question for the staff.
Yeah.
And under prohibited signs, freestanding sign with unconcealed pole supports are prohibited? Has that always been there that way, or what was the rationale?
That's always been there that way.
Any rationale for that?
Because they're trying to promote monument signs or more decorative types of signs as opposed to having just a metal pole in the ground.
Okay.
All right, let's go to next page. So you have seen those. Nothing new, but again, on this page is just clarification. A-frame sign on, yeah, so that's just clarification. No, nothing substantial.
You on page 14 yet?
We're on page 14, right, Michelle? Yeah,
That's correct.
Look like, I don't know if this is a typo, but it says all shine shall be to located. Or so located, should it say all signs shall be located so that?
so that, yeah, good point.
I don't see where you are.
Okay,
Yeah, right there when Michelle
it's
is.
just,
Okay.
10.3E.
it's like, so what? No, so, okay.
Yeah. So that, yeah, good point. Yeah, good
Yep.
catch.
It'll straighten itself.
All right. So let's scroll down. This table, we had a discussion before that previously we had A-frame sign only for temporary non-commercial, and we had now we add a temporary commercial A-frame sign as an allowed sign on the right of way.
And that we were always allowing that on sidewalks, so it needs to be listed in the table as such.
Yeah. We are on page 16, 17. So those are, yeah, so on page 18 now. lighting, electronically changeable sign and window signs. So this is where we wanted to point out that previously, like the way we had structured this sign code, like temporary sign and permanent sign and window sign were falling under both categories. And under this, we discussed this and we recommend that window sign can be its own category, like electronically changeable sign. So we could move window sign from temporary and commercial and put one generic set of standards, because with window signs, it's hard to identify which sign in the window is permanent and which one is temporary, like you see in this photo. So we're recommending that this would be on its own category. I wanted to get your input on that.
Everybody's shaking their head, so.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. I think we had few other comments to discuss with the Planning Commission. So I think one is that the residential zone, so window sign is allowed in residential and non-residential zone where wall signs are permitted. So this is where we want to discuss this with you.
So the way it is, by saying that it's not allowed in the residential zones, you couldn't put up your Seahawk sign. You couldn't put a political sign in the window. Actually, home occupations are allowed to have 4-foot signs, but anyhow, long story short is that if commercial businesses are allowed to have window signs in the residential zones, I don't think we want to necessarily prohibit people from being able to put signs in their windows.
Is that what this is suggesting?
That is what the change is fixing.
Fixing.
Allow residential signs in residential windows.
Yes.
Allow window signs in residential and non-residential zones. Yep.
Those names.
Exactly.
So that sounds okay? Okay.
Everybody
So
shaking.
the other discussion we wanted to have with you is that we were recommending that window signs shall not in aggregate not exceed 30%. So our question to you is that, is this too high? And we were looking at some other jurisdictions and other codes. So you have options like increasing that percentage or not even requiring any percentage for the window sign, like no area. So this is a placeholder of 30% now, and this is something we need your input.
Anisa, can we go back to the prior window sign image that you had up?
Yeah.
So looking at that doesn't seem overly obnoxious, but, and it does appear to be more than 30% if you're to draw the geometric figure around the signs. Now, then there's also the question of, do you only count the part that's lines and not the clear? And it's really messy. There's that question also, but it does appear that seems to be tasteful and appropriate. And it's probably, I would guess that it's probably closer to 40 or 50%.
And so is the question, do you need to put a limit?
And that's the question.
Yeah.
Do we need to?
I say no, it's too hard to enforce anyways.
I
It's a waste
agree.
of time,
Yeah,
just a personal opinion.
I think that's.
So no percentage.
no percentage.
Okay.
No restriction.
Okay. Sounds good. Let's move to the next page. I think, yeah, those were the questions we had. So we will update these graphics as well. Right now it shows 30%, so we'll update that. Yep. So let's go down. I think these are some of the new standards. So the following do not count towards the window sign area. So we added like open for business or hours of operation, seasonal displays. So we are recommending not to add those and not to count those as for the percentage. But
Since we just eliminated the percentage, we can eliminate this whole section.
we can eliminate, that's right. Yeah, I just realized after saying that, it's like, that's true. All right, let's go to the commercial standards. We are on page 22. Again, I mean, so this is another discussion we wanted to have. Previously, we had awning, canopy, and marquee combined, and we had 1% for all of those. But city has discussed with developer, and then there were some concern in general that these are different types of signs, so maybe 1% is not appropriate for all. So Michelle, if we could go to the awning sign image, that might be a good way to look at it. So yeah, so this is an awning, how you see that that's where the signage is. Yeah, but then if we go to canopy sign, right next to that, so that's the other image that has the side of the canopy. This is a little larger, so maybe the same percentage is not appropriate for all of those. So that's the discussion we wanted to have. And also marquee sign. Do you really need a marquee sign as a category or not? I mean, have you ever had any marquee sign in the city? So those are the discussion we wanted to bring up.
And I'd like to bring up a couple points here. So one of the challenges is we don't define how we measure the area. And so in the image of an awning, I would assume that the area is all the visible parts. In the example of the canopy, which by the way, that looked actually, this actually again, looks pleasant and appropriate.
Yeah.
But it's much larger than 30% on that side. And are we just looking at that side or are we looking at the whole area of it? And we really can't see what's on the front. So again, we'd have to define both how we measure it and which would be different for a canopy versus an awning. And again, the marquee sign, we really had a hard time finding an example of a marquee sign that had only 30% words on it.
And I guess I would ask the same question. Do you want to measure it as a percent of surface?
That's kind of the question that we have.
Yeah.
And how you're gonna enforce it.
I would say, let's not do that.
So let's just not have a percentage.
That's right.
Let's not have a percentage. Okay.
When it's inspected,
I'm sorry?
said when you inspect it, you'll know if it's too big. And
Okay, so, yes, no, that standard's not gonna cut it.
I know, but
It's not pornography.
you'll know when you see it.
You know, when you see
I
it.
had to use that one for 10 years in hearings.
But I think you should have a, so what was the question with respect to marquee?
Whether we need to have a marquee.
So the question is that, do you need a marquee sign? Do you need separate standards? First of all, do you need that as a category? And second, if you decide to have it as a category, then do you have a percentage for that as well?
So I would just make the case that a marquee, while we haven't seen one yet in the city, it could be
Could be.
a placemaking sort of thing. And I'm not sure, again, my point with it when we were looking at 30% is that we had a really hard time finding an example of one that had only 30%. And maybe we don't want to include a percentage on that either.
Okay, so we should remove the percentage. Am I hearing that marquee sign could be under placemaking sign, or is that okay being here?
Separate category.
Separate category.
Yeah.
Separate category, okay.
And you may want to consider limiting the size
Of the marquee.
The marquee.
Yeah.
Now, and I wouldn't necessarily limit the size of the canopy or the awning because that's going to be context sensitive, right? What
Was there a definition of a marquee sign? I don't
Yes.
recall. There is.
I
Yeah.
believe so, yes.
I think we have added a marquee sign. So let's go to that definition, Michelle.
Yeah.
It's right there, yeah. So it's any sign attached to or constructed in a marquee, which is a permanent roof-like structure projected beyond a building wall at an entrance to a building or extending along and projecting beyond the building's wall, and generally designed and constructed to provide protection against weather.
So I would say the recommendation would be to come up with a limitation on the size of a marquee sign.
Okay. So size of the marquee sign.
Maybe we could ask you, Burke, to take a look and see what other communities do with marquee
Exactly.
signs.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay.
great. All right, so I think that was a big question we had. So let's scroll down. Again, I mean, same questions, canopy, and so we have discussed that. Drive-through menu signs. So this is where our question has been that we have one per stacking lane, 16 feet. So all of those is like, are you comfortable with these standards? One per stacking lane and then 16 square feet in size.
I'm seeing people nod.
So you're okay with that? Okay, perfect. Okay, let's go. So again, this is I think we are deleting the fueling charging sign. So that's the other discussion we wanted to have, is because so right now, I mean, we added the fueling station, electric vehicle charging station, but we also had this discussion that some of the other sign type that you have might already address your need. So Michelle, if we could go to that nom sign that has the monument sign, and that was actually addressing your fueling gas station type of requirements.
So I
So
really
do you?
I wanted to pause for a second with the planning commission specifically. We do not currently, under our sign code, have a separate category for fueling signs. They fall under the standard sign. And the example with Nom Nom shows that using our existing sign code, they can make it work. So they've done it with a monument sign.
And we take the
So
restrictions off.
do we need to have a separate category for that? I think that's probably the simpler way to go. There's also very limited places in the city where gas stations can go, so,
Simpler's better.
I'm sorry.
Simpler's better.
So, I think, am I seeing everybody nodding?
Yeah, we're okay to eliminate that.
Yeah, let's just get rid of this one.
Okay, so we'll just remove this as a category and it will be within the monument or other sign categories. Okay. All right, so that's page 23 and then page 2. So did we have more questions on? I think on page 24, monument sign for multiple businesses. So this is where we wanted to ask is, for multiple businesses, should we keep it limited to one monument sign per for businesses? So one per street frontage, or allow one per access point. So those are the two differentiating factors that we wanted to discuss with you.
And so I'm going to give you some examples. I would give you the example of both the Yokes and the Safeway plazas, where they have multiple entrances, and those entrances serve different businesses. We probably eliminate some sign clutter and provide better direction if we allow one per access point, because the access points are limited. That also gives people better direction as to where they want to turn to go to a particular store.
Yep.
I agree with that.
I'm seeing nods all around.
Yes.
Good idea.
Okay, so one per access point is good. Okay. All right, sponsorship sign, we made that change based on our last discussion.
That
So
requires
let's,
modification to any existing signage. If we say one per,
No, it does not. It does
Okay.
not, because anything that exists, anything that is in existence today is a legal non-conforming sign. They can change the top, they can maintain it, all those things.
okay.
okay. Let's go down. So there's a call out. So again, this is an update per discussion with Joe Frank. So this is more of a clarification of wall facing and directly adjacent to residential zones, and everything else stays the same. Let's scroll down. So window sign, we deleted it from here because now it is a new category.
Yep.
Okay, let's scroll down. So we are on page 27. So these are the new additions. So we will be deleting the gas station from here, number E, and then drive-through menu sign is added. Yeah. All right. So let's scroll down to the next page. Michelle, could you, yeah. So we just discussed about marquee and awning signs. So, yeah, and then we have deleted a few sections like architectural canopy and marquee signs may incorporate. So we struck it out. We separated that.
Right, because it wouldn't apply to awning signs.
Yeah. Okay, and we are on page, which page number, Michelle? We are in 29, yeah. So that is also, so you see that the strikeout that's deleted. That's also is part of the discussion with Joe Frank. Okay, if no other comments, let's go to, so we had already discussed canopy sign.
To strike out the percentage.
Strike out the percentage, correct? Yeah. So we'll strike out. Drive-through menu sign. So these are new standards for drive-through menu sign. One per. So it was also in that table, and we just added those here as well, like this, the structure of this sign code. So, you had we had just gone through the table, and it's the same standards. Anything to add in this? Okay. All right, let's scroll down. So this is more like so one per driving access. So this is where we just discussed like one per access for multiple businesses. So we'll just make sure that they're consistent throughout. So let's scroll down. So this is where we were eliminating the gas station sign we just discussed about. So that section will go away. Marquee sign, we just discussed about this, that we will add that. So we'll delete that percentage, but then we will work on some standard size requirements. All right. So sponsorship sign, we had this discussion before. So I think we had a point here for discussion with the Planning Commission. And it's I think we had this discussion before, but we didn't. So we wanted to get a direction on this. So maximum height of for any portion of a sign is 15 feet above grade and 30 feet above grade for scoreboard. So what if the sign is combined with the scoreboard? So this is talking about height, like how tall it can be. So we had discussed that. We didn't have any conclusion to that. And then the next one that you see highlighted here on the same page, permanent sponsorship signs are subject to the permitting requirements associated with the specific sign structures. So we are actually tying it with whether it's monument sign or freestanding sign or not. So it's tying it with that. Should we have do you want to just discuss and give us some guidance on that?
Any feedback on that?
What is permanent sponsorship sign? Because 99% of the time, a sponsorship is not permanent.
Well, it's by virtue of the type of sign it is.
Okay.
So if it's like a permanent freestanding sign or a permanent monument sign, now their name could be changed or the sponsorship information could be
Okay,
changed.
that's what I was wondering.
The sign is
It
permanent.
just the way that I read that, I was like, wait a second.
It's the, yeah, sponsorship, but the type of sign
Right.
is specific.
Thank you.
So the standards in general, they look okay to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Let's go to scroll down. I think we're on page 39. So the question here is, let's see. It's multiple business, and I think the same question that we just had. So do you want to consider allowing the applicant to, okay, so wall sign, that's another discussion under wall sign. So right now we are having this wall sign with the graphics and requiring that the wall sign should be with the entrance or primary access or street frontage. But the option that you have is like you can require an applicant to choose their own wall, being the primary wall, and then calculate their sign based on that. So right now, Michelle, if you scroll down to the graphics below, so you see that we have a bunch of like primary building wall, secondary building wall, and how the sign will be located in comparison to the street frontage and access. So you could just have a regulations that they could just select one wall, make that as their wall to calculate the sign, and that will make all the primary and secondary wall requirements go away.
And so the concept here is that, and we had this in River District where the dentist office has a Champier corner and wanted his sign to, because it would get the most visibility to traffic if it was on that Champier corner. But he wanted to put the size of the sign from the primary on this small area, which made it look a lot bigger. And so the question is, do we tie the size of the sign to the area of the wall that they're putting it on? And why do we care if they have signage facing the roadway and also signage facing the parking lot that you're not going to see both of? But just tie it to the building sign or the building wall.
Unless it's a hazard. If
Unless
it's a hazard, then it's covered.
Right.
And right now, I believe that one business that has the maximum allowable signage, they can put that on multiple walls.
Yes, they can.
Yeah.
Still, the amount of signage is still tied to tied to the primary wall. They can spread it out over 4 sides and whatnot. It doesn't make sense to do that if we're tying the size of the sign to the area of the facade and trying to make it balanced that way. Agreed. I think I'm seeing head nods. from
Yeah, I
everybody
think
on that.
the more flexibility we give to the owner, the better in this particular case, so.
Yeah.
Okay,
We've got thumbs up all.
Okay, great. So what we will do, we will just update this graphics. We don't have to have like primary or secondary building wall. It's just applicant can pick any wall, and we'll update the standards based on that.
Well, I think we went a step further. It's much simpler than that. I don't think we even need the graphic now. because
That's true. Yeah, we would not need that.
The size of the sign
Yeah.
is based on the area of the wall on which it's located.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Simple.
Yeah.
he picks.
Yeah.
Yes. So size of the sign is based on the wall it is located. Yeah. All right. I think there was another discussion there. One freestanding monument sign. So is the exchange ratio, I think it has been edited based on the discussion, but it's clarification also that the area of one freestanding sign. So if you remove an area of one freestanding monument sign, so the area of one freestanding monument sign may be reduced or exchanged to increase the maximum permitted wall sign area. So now it's like it can be equal sign area if there is an exchange between wall sign and monument sign.
And we believe that's a necessary change because right now it's not exactly clear how the exchange is done, you're reducing it by that amount. And so by being very specific about it, if you remove this sign, you get that, and that's the amount that you can increase this signage by, so. And we have had businesses that have taken advantage of that over the years, so.
So I'm hearing it's okay
Yep.
to go ahead. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Let's scroll down.
Sounds good.
These are some of the temporary commercial sign standards. So A-frame, one per axis. I think you had seen this before and discussed. Commercial banner. So we changed from 60 to 80. So those are done, updated. And then let's see. So I think the discussion we wanted to have was clarifying the language. Michelle, can you zoom in a little bit? I think what is this one is the comment line. Okay, so we have one construction sign there. So we wanted to discuss with you that is one per site or one per. I mean, if that's the right number.
I'm
Are you
lost.
okay with that?
Page are we on?
Where are we?
We are on page 44.
Okay,
We're down on the right-hand side where the.
yeah, okay.
So we're good there.
Construction contractor, contractor, or, yeah, okay.
Coming soon sign.
Mm-hmm.
So one sign per contractor, whether that's okay or not.
So what is the question?
So we had, yeah, go ahead, Lisa.
So very often when you have a building under construction,
Mm-hmm.
you'll see the general contractor, you'll see the plumbing guy, you'll see the roofing guy, you'll see multiple contractor signs. All displayed. So we're saying is this one per site or one per contractor / vendor? Or do we want to have limit the number to no more than 4 or no more than 3?
And these signs are only during the construction period?
Yes, but they can result in a lot of sign clutter too.
Oh, sure. What do
For a period of 6 months, 9 months, a year.
All
Well,
types of signs, banners.
Well, they have
Is it-
all sorts of, sometimes they're banners on
Right,
construction fences,
just-
sometimes they're pole signs, sometimes they're all sorts of different, and some of them are very big.
So a lot of times they'll have the construction fence up around with multiple banners hanging from it,
Yeah.
like you're talking about. for
But yeah,
This crew, that crew.
which probably is site obscuring for the mess that they're making on site while they're under construction. Just saying. But it's a question, it's a question.
A couple of questions. As I think through this probably applies more to commercial projects than residential.
Yes,
There's a size limit for each sign that you could put up now?
yes, and I think that they used to be 32 and we have them 16 now.
Right.
But that's also we're looking at a lot of the 16 versus 30 units.
So I would just say on these commercial projects, they're not all local people. And the company you go to work for, you might be coming from out of town, you don't always know who you're working for. So, I mean, if I use my signs on my job sites as a way to identify I'm in the right spot for those guys. So it's an advertising tool for the contractor, but it's also a job site. Go here. Oh yeah, I'm doing a job today for who? Oh, Merit Electric, whoever it is. Right. So if we don't allow signs for those bigger contractors, like just throwing that out there, just might be a
And
little.
that was why we were raising the question, because one per site or one per contractor is a big difference.
I think
but-
it's important to keep the per contractor, just
Yeah.
for what I just.
Well, it's, yes, and it's not the
Yeah.
contractor now, but that's what we were thinking.
Per contractor, that's what I'm hearing.
Yes,
that is what you're hearing.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. And the next one we wanted to discuss is the district sign and project sign. We had some discussion before We have four per project area. So we wanted to discuss that with you. Is four an okay number for district sign or project sign? Again, district sign and project sign, those are two separate sign. Project is more like the real estate type, or I mean, yeah, and the district is sort of advertising when the construction is not going on or plat is not going on. And Michelle, you can go to that graphics and show the difference between those two different signs, if that's easy enough. Yeah. So there was a graphics before that showed like subdivision areas when there's, yeah. So this is actually is a good example of district sign. Yeah, like the Pine District. It's not actually talking about sale or anything, and the project sign is different. So let's go back to that page, Michelle. We are on, I think we're on page 44. So we wanted to know if four per project area is good.
Recognizing that some of these projects are relatively large, think about the River District or even like Stonehill as an example. They're very large projects. But the point is that you want to give them an opportunity to kind of define their project area, but it shouldn't be like every 600 feet they have a sign.
Right. Yeah, I think, did we kind of discuss that prior about the number of signs in that particular situation?
Yeah, I yes, I think we did. And so I think that I'm seeing head nods around. 4 is a good number.
Yep, it's good.
Okay. All right, sounds good. So the next one is it's feather sign, and that's something we had a discussion with you. We just wanted to clarify that these standards are good. So we had feather sign, flag, or pennant sign combined, and we have one sign. So what it means is that one sign of either feather, flag, or pennant. So one type. So if you have feather, you're not going to have pennant or flag. So that's the number. And then we have the total square footage there, and the duration is 60 days. So we wanted to confirm with you that you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Everybody's shaking their heads.
Okay. All right. Sounds great. Let's scroll down. So yeah, let's see. So it's so Michelle, there was a call out here, right? Real estate sign, commercial, industrial. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this call out is just about how, because we have collected the window signs up into a separate section, I was just calling out and letting everyone know that because these window signs are defined here, that would just be removed from this section. So it's just being transparent about that.
Because we limited the area of the sign or the area of window signs, I think the category of real estate window signs can actually just go away.
Yep.
Right. Okay. And then on the real estate, those are just clarification. We had discussion before, so you're seeing reflection of those updates. Let's scroll down to page 46. So window sign, we're deleting window sign now because window sign is now going to be its own category. Let's go down. So under this is where we wanted to have quite a few discussion with you, especially on that number 5, B5. This is where we wanted to so what we have here is that A-frame sign must be located on the parcel where the business is located. But there are cases where the business does not have a sidewalk to put
48.
the A-frame sign. So we are on page 48.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we got a jewelry store on Country Vista that has their sandwich sign out on Country Vista because they're also butt up right against Legacy Hill. And it's taken in and every day it's put out.
Right. Yeah,
There has to be. If we got
Yes.
something that is way in there, there's no way for anybody to see it.
right.
Yep.
So this is okay?
Yes.
Great. All right. I think that one, the A-frame sign shall
wait,
shall not be.
Question.
Sorry, to interrupt. Did we skip over sponsorship sign back on
You,
46?
can you,
Sorry, did we skip over sponsorship sign on 46? Or did we just not have a chance to comment?
So sponsorship sign will come again, but yeah, let's stay there. Yeah, I mean, this is the table, but we also have sponsorship sign coming up. But yeah,
Okay,
if you
sorry.
have questions,
We can
no,
go.
if you have questions, let's discuss it now. Or suggestions, yeah.
I just had a question on the length of time. Again, kind of the same question I had before, a permanent sponsorship sign, even though that wasn't for that section, but for this one, a sponsor sometimes will sponsor things for more than a year. And so are they supposed to take down the sign after a year?
no, they can just re-register, and I think
Okay,
we
so
added
just
that-
re-register.
we added that language in that section.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And by the way, if typically what happens is they have to pay the entity that they're providing the sponsorship for every year. So it's a great opportunity to say, oh yeah, I'm gonna pay Phil, and oh, by the way, while I'm paying him, I will re-register my sign.
Okay.
Is there any,
Or Phil can re-register his sign.
is there any fee for re-registration? Good.
Question.
Yeah.
Back on page 48 on the A board.
Page 48. Okay.
The second line talks about with the permission of that property owner. Refresh my memory again on, I know we talked about that. Are we saying that the third business back, as Tom called out earlier, has to get permission from who?
Well, so here's the deal. If they're separate parcels, so think about it in terms of like the Oaks Plaza, where we have some businesses that are in front of Ace that are actually separate parcels. So if you're gonna put it on the sidewalk, in front of the business that's out front, I can't remember what it is, right? It's particular, it doesn't really matter. If you're gonna put your sandwich board sign, technically that sidewalk is serving that adjacent property owner. So you're just gonna have to ask them, is it okay if I put my sign here? One of the things we want to avoid is that we don't have 50 of those sandwich board signs all in the sidewalk in front of that business. It defeats the purpose. And we may also want to have some separation distances between them. But in the case of like the jewelry store that you're talking about, that's all in one parcel. It's just different tenants within that, and that's, so they don't have to, that is adjacent, Country Vista is adjacent.
And that's the only sandwich board in that area, other than across the parking lot. They had one out there for a while. But it's not usual out there.
I'm not sure how I feel about Ace having to ask the new bank for permission to put it based on what I'm reading here.
Okay, well, so I have a question, because right now there are people, as we're talking about the sign code, that people believe it gives them license to not follow the existing sign code. And so we've been having some issues with that. I don't know if anybody's noticed the proliferation of sandwich board signs
Yep.
all in the same location. So it's something to think about. We don't have to solve it today because this is not our last bite at the apple.
My feeling on it would be, you can't take, say, Chase Bank, because maybe it's a different business that has a storefront right on the sidewalk. And if Ace puts their A-frame board right in front of their door, they're probably not gonna be very happy about it. So I agree with the permission that they need from that property owner if it's a separate parcel. If it's the same parcel, yeah, no big deal.
Keep in mind that the adjacent property owner is responsible for maintaining the sidewalk. So it would seem like it's a courtesy to ask them, are you okay for me to put my sign on your sidewalk?
That's a good point.
Thank you. All right, I'm good.
I think everybody's okay with that.
That makes sense.
Thank you.
Okay.
You sir helped me.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, so we are good with that. Thank you. I wanted to just point out this highlights on page 49. the A-frame sign shall not be placed within 30 feet of another A-frame sign. So this is something new, and we wanted to bring that to your attention. It's something that Lisa just mentioned, that sometimes there are like too many signs in the same place. So this could probably be a way to avoid the clutter of signage.
And again, the question is 30 feet the right number?
Yeah, what do you think about 30 feet?
That was the number that we proposed, but again, I think it's,
Otherwise, it's sign everywhere.
I go back to the jeweler.
Yeah.
I don't think that parcel's probably, how deep is it, 100
Yeah.
on the width?
yeah,
So that means you could only put 2 signs out there. Well, and there's 3 businesses.
right.
Well, 3, wouldn't it? be
Oh,
three?
that's good point.
Let's use them as an example.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's a good point.
But here's the other thing and the other thing is that, we could also use the exception related to visibility and the fact that they could, we have alternate method called out elsewhere in there as that we could provide an exception to the rule if, based upon the specific circumstances.
Right, like multiple businesses and not enough room for the sign.
I mean, by the time you don't think it'll happen, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
well, and again.
Another approach that we can suggest is that it could be either or. Like if you have multiple business, then each business would be able to put A-frame sign in front of their business. And if not, then if the business is wide enough, then 30 feet. So whichever applies. That's just an idea I'm throwing out.
I kind of like that idea.
And there still could be exceptions to that too.
Yep.
And especially
Okay.
for Bill's talking about.
So they're liking that approach.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's go down. So this is where we have banner sign 180 day. You saw that in the table we updated based on our previous discussion. So let's scroll down. So this is another big discussion here.
Page 50.
So we had discussion about one per site or one per contractor. We had that discussion. We got direction from you. But we also wanted to discuss about that 16 square feet versus 32 square feet. We had that discussion, but we didn't get any specific direction. On that regard, I wanted to share, Michelle, if you have a minute to open the other file where we had like 2 separate signs. One is 16 square feet and one is 32. That would give you an idea of like how it would look like in terms of like human scale, like somebody is standing there. So do you have it open, Michelle?
Yes, one moment. I'm just pulling it
Okay.
open, and then I will share it just momentarily. It was also at the, I believe it was in the Planning Commission packet as well, but I can also share that in the screen. Give me one moment.
So they have the same height, but the square footage area is different. So that would give you an idea of like how it would look.
Sorry, my word hasn't
Oh.
opened. It's just been very slow. I apologize.
I have it open, Michelle, but I don't want to mess up your screen
Oh,
sharing.
it's okay. I have it shared.
Okay.
One moment. There we go.
Yeah, so you see that 16 square feet and then 32 square feet. I mean, those are 2 different, and a person standing next to it. So this gives you an idea of like, and also the context, like the 32 is like, you see that it's like 2.25 acres, so it's like large area. And most of the time it's like large parcel and having that sign, but the top sign is more of like real estate development type of sign. So yeah, so let's go back to the previous screen, Michelle. So we just
I like-
wanted to.
Anissa, I like where if it's gonna be over an acre, then we go to 32, and otherwise we keep it at 16.
So having some limitation in terms of site size or parcel
big area.
area.
So, and I.
Otherwise, you're gonna have a bunch of signs on there.
Right, over an acre is 32.
32.
Yes.
Under is 16.
Okay. Okay.
Let me ask,
All right.
so
Great.
the term earlier was use human scale, but that's not the purpose of these signs. These are.
Yeah, no, I was trying to say, sorry about my language. I was trying to say that it shows you in terms of a human, like a person's standings, like how big the sign is. But yeah, you were correct that this is intended for like large sign to draw attention from the car as well.
That's really the main purpose of the sign, in my opinion,
Yeah.
as it relates to a construction site. So I question why are we limiting under 1 acre? Just throwing it up there for discussion. I'm trying to think of an example somewhere in the city that,
Over in the River District right now, where we had all those things going on across from New Love. 4x4 signs would have been more than sufficient. In fact, they have been, and we're still working all the way down towards the trail now.
okay, all right, that's.
And then that's right by where the dentist was, and
Right.
as we keep adding,
But those parcels are way under 1 acre, aren't
they are way under.
Way under.
So
So if you wanted to set a size limit, I would think that the 4x4 should kind of marry along with the size of the
Yeah.
parcel, but 1 acre is pretty good size. I mean, it's a
half acre,
football field,
Yeah.
right?
it is.
The example you're using, I get it. Those are 1/4 acre, maybe half acre parcels at best. Half acre? Do I hear 1/4?
I think leave it as it is.
I think half is reasonable.
I'm just asking the question.
Yeah. I just like, if it's gonna be a smaller area. we
I
got a
get
smaller
that
sign.
part, yeah.
Bigger area, bigger sign. What's gonna work?
Well, I guess the other consideration is the size of a thoroughfare that would handle something that's an acre versus a half acre. And like you're talking about over in the River District, the thoroughfares are relatively small, so you don't need a big sign.
Good point.
No, I agree with that example, just. If it's out here on Appleway and it's a 1 acre parcel or
And Mission,
0.99.
where we're gonna have work being done right now.
Right.
Yeah,
So on the larger thoroughfare, yeah, you'd want a
larger
So
sign.
you
larger
could,
sign.
so you could define it as,
2-lane versus
Arterial.
4-lane or arterial.
arterial.
versus-
If it's a designated arterial, then, 32,
32.
otherwise it would be 16.
I'm just trying to make it difficult. I
Yes.
just,
And
No, no,
I'm
good
making,
question.
I'm differentiating because we have some collectors in the River District, Indiana, and Mission in the River District that are truly.
And Mission's gonna have a bunch of work being done,
Yeah.
so, and those should be bigger signs.
so we're gonna go by road type rather
Yep.
than acreage. Okay,
Yep.
That's fair.
there. Thank you.
Okay, so then are we hearing that arterials would have 32 square feet and then all other roads will have 16 square feet?
Yes.
Yes.
That sounds good.
Okay. And so no limits on parcel size then?
That's right.
Okay, okay. All right, that sounds good. Let's go to the next one. So this is where we had questions about, yeah, so it's the same question, so we will just update that based on your. One thing though, we were highlighting here is 600 feet. So we discussed about 4 district sign and then, so I think we discussed that before already, right? I mean, the distance is not applicable anymore because we talked about access points. We also had like 700 feet from each other, whether that needs to be considered or not.
Well, I think if we have, while we allow 4 district signs, I think the separation of 600 feet is to say that if you have a small project, you shouldn't have 4 signs. And the separation, just to give you a sense, 600 feet is about 2 city blocks. Which is seems like a reasonable separation distance. Not that you have blocks here in this city.
Amen.
So are we hearing that 600 feet is okay?
Haven't heard any objections yet, so.
No objections.
So, yep,
All right. Sounds good. And this is the graphics where district sign, I mean, you have seen this before, where district sign and project sign is discussed. And under project real estate sign, we have one sign per project. So we will update that based on our discussion. So maximum four project signs now, yeah. Keep that 600 feet. Cool. Okay, let's scroll down. Yeah, so all of those 16 by, so yeah, I just wanted to make sure that that construction sign, we talked about 16 by 32, 16 square feet and 32 square feet, but now it would apply to all other signs that has 16 square feet versus 32. So am I hearing that? I mean, is that the direction or?
I think so.
Okay, okay, all right. Sounds good. So we'll update all of those.
Question of visibility and the size of the arterial, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So, okay, so we are in commercial on page, I think we are on page 54. So yeah, I think these are just clarification since we have moved window sign as a separate category. So it's just clarifying that. Let's scroll down. So we have some questions here. So this is related to so we are on page 56. So we are talking about A-frame sign, right? Michelle, is that the category here or real estate open house sign? Yeah. So we wanted to discuss here with you. So it's like a real estate sign for longer term model home. So model home is the other discussion point that we wanted to bring up, whether this needs to be separately identified or not. I know we had discussion at the last meeting.
well, it was Joe that led the discussion on that. And I think that model home is completely different than a home that you're having a sale or an open house. And his thing was that we needed to have 6 signs maximum. I know, but
But the point is, right now, we don't differentiate, and I think a model home sign by its very nature should have a longer duration.
Yeah.
You should be able to have a model home sign at the home itself,
the home itself.
but also have some directional signs.
Yep.
And so the question is, but
How
keep
many?
in mind, how many? Keep in mind also that they're going to be way more permanent than an open house sign. An open house sign is up and then it's gone. It's up and then it's gone.
Yep.
And actually, even if we limit them to 6 and they put out 12, they'll be gone by this by the time anybody enforces on it. So not so with model homes.
So what's the question?
So the question is, do you need additional standards for model home? I mean, or different sign standards for model home?
Versus a real estate.
Versus a real estate sign.
Open house.
Yeah.
sign. I think
Yes.
you do, yes.
Yeah.
I'm getting. Phil,
Okay, so standards for model home. Okay.
wait,
Yeah.
Phil has a comment.
Yeah, I do, please, thank you. So you're absolutely right. They're 2 different parts of the pie. Your model home signs are gonna be fixed for the duration of the model home. I don't think you need as many directional signs in that application because typically if you're gonna have a model home, you're going to have a development sign, a bigger sign at your entrances. directing you to the development.
Yeah.
And you move your model home throughout the development as you go, so. Is it just a matter of the directional signs, how many you need? Is that the difference we're trying to, I mean,
Well, I
or
think
you want
that's-
to create a whole different?
I think we
whole
also have a
category?
separate category
Okay.
because right now, the model home would not be able to have. I guess you could put a real estate sign out there that's a model home sign, but typically what you see is something that is a little bit. It's intended to be longer term
Mhm.
because most often.
Could you have the same standard, but just bracket model home could be a longer period of time? So all the standards are the same, except when you get to duration, just put
Right.
bracket model home could be
Longer duration
longer duration. Because everything else,
and open houses and real estate.
Yeah.
It's a good way to go.
Yeah. Or.
So are we hearing that it's under the same category, real estate open house? We could have like the same sign, but for model homes, the duration would be longer.
Nisa, I think we're saying that it should be a real estate sign, the same category as a
Okay.
real estate sign, not not the same category as an open house sign.
Yes.
Okay, okay, so real estate sign, okay. Okay. With longer duration, got it. All right, sounds good. Let's go to the sponsorship sign. We had discussion before, now is the duration is 365 days temporary assigned categories. So we didn't have any questions, but we wanted to bring this to your attention. And so let's scroll down to the next page. I think we had a few questions here, feather, flag, or pennant sign. So yeah, we wanted to discuss this with you, only one type of sign, and then the duration of the sign is like, what would be the ideal from your perspective? So we could have more guidance.
What was the
We
idea?
are on page 58.
Yeah, what was the idea of making it 60 days instead of 30 days? Did we discuss that?
So the example would be somebody puts up a grand opening sign. They want it up for a longer duration.
Okay,
You
I
think
just-
about, you think about amortizing the cost of a banner. It does seem.
Okay.
It seems to make more sense. Gives a little bit more flexibility.
It just
to
was
business.
crossed out. I didn't know why we would want to leave them up longer, but.
so didn't we already agree 60 days?
I don't
Apparently,
think I don't know that you necessarily did, but that's what's.
That's what's being, what
That's
the
what's being
proposal.
proposed.
Well, I would ask too, in a calendar year, because it says for special events, so what if you have a business that has 3 special events in a year's time? You can only do a banner once?
So but it is the specific banner that they're doing. So if they have 3 different special events, they're not gonna have 3 grand openings.
No, they're not gonna have 3 grand openings.
But-
yeah, but it should be limited to the time that they're actually having the event and not up all the time.
Right,
That's,
right.
Well, just as I read the sentence, it says, temporary on, 1 calendar year for special events, so what does special events mean? I get the grand opening example, like 100%, but
yeah,
what's a special event? We're on a fire sale today because we bought too many 2x4s and they're on special?
it should be 60 days for any event.
Or any event.
Yeah, I think
That's
I
what
think that's what we're saying.
I think that's what we're saying. We just used the word special event, but it.
Yeah.
for-
Okay,
That works.
I just.
So we can clarify that for just keep it events
Yeah.
and then 60 days.
And that they have to take them down at the end of the event. Yep. That works.
So do we give them a time that they need to take it down? Instead of saying we have to take it down at the end of the event?
5 o'clock that day.
Well, so
Yeah, so that should be,
wait,
something should be.
so we won't
We're-
know when the event ends.
Yes.
You're setting us up for code enforcement headaches. And Sue's in the back of the room smiling, saying, thank you, Lisa, thank you, Lisa.
So we just leave it 60 days.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. So we'll leave it for 60 days. Let's scroll down. I think there are call out here discussion with the planning commission, and this is sign shall not exceed 75 square feet in size. So yeah, that was the other one we wanted to discuss, that if 75 square feet sounds reasonable.
75 square feet is a honking big
That's a big
feather
one.
sign.
This is,
Did 32 for
Big bird
construction
feather.
sign and 75 is more than twice that. That's a big sign.
Yeah, where'd 75 feet come from?
It is in your existing code right now.
Banners. Banners and flags. And
Mhm.
banners are a different, but even that's huge. even
That's
for a
huge.
banner.
that's basically a
Go-
3 foot by 25 foot banner.
Yep.
Same,
Most
Sorry?
better things are
It's a
big.
3 foot by 25 foot banner.
oh yeah, well, that's true. I guess if it's an elevated banner, then yeah.
So it's probably okay.
Yeah. Somebody will
But
see
it's
it.
not
Depends on the
a feather.
application. Depends on the application.
Again, safety concerns. But yeah.
But you're also limited height.
Yeah.
So that makes a
15
difference
feet.
also.
15 feet, right?
Right, so,
That's what it says.
so it would really be hard to make a feather sign that was 75 square feet.
With a limit?
Yes, it could be 15 by 5, so 75.
Yeah, 15 by 5. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay,
So that's okay. All right. So that's okay then. Let's move forward. Scroll down. So I didn't think we had any major questions there. I think one item we wanted to discuss is that we had non-commercial monument sign as a separate category in the last version. And we discussed to combine that with placemaking sign because this is non-commercial and most of the non-commercial signs are sort of like neighborhood identification, and placemaking sort of does the similar thing. So we were recommending to combine that instead of having a separate category there.
The
You
other
okay with
thing
that?
Yes, and
Yes.
that's what we recommended.
Okay.
The other thing that I will say about that is that we were looking at the size limitations for these, and I don't think we can find any of the subdivision signs like this that Legacy Ridge, I mean, that's way bigger than what was limited, but most of them are. Meadowwood is much larger. So we also had some problems with the limitations that were placed on the sides.
So we're gonna eliminate that category.
We're eliminating that category, but we will have to look at it in terms of placemaking monument signs.
Okay,
And that is the maximum one size is not to exceed the maximum one sign and 32 square feet in size area and 6 feet in height. And that does seem to be, that seems a little more problematic in terms of what we see as has almost been the standard here. Whether you think about the Liberty Lake Business Park sign or the Meadowwood sign or any of the subdivision signs in the community seem to be larger in scale than that.
which are already there.
They're already there, so they're grandfathered.
They're
but the
grandfathered in.
question- But the question is for the new developments, Although I also think that the monument signs for subdivisions is a little old school.
I just don't see any conversation here about this, so.
Okay, so I guess we're gonna leave it as it is.
Yeah.
They leave-
Okay, great. Okay, so let's move forward with that then. So we are gonna keep that. Let's scroll down, Michelle. So we are combining that with the placemaking, and here is the placemaking sign. So it's just, I think it's considering the review process, so we had that discussion before. So let's scroll down. So this is gonna be administrative interpretation
And it's gonna,
as a requirement.
making sign is actually gonna come with design review.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Let's scroll down. Again, placemaking sign. So we also so Michelle brought some examples of placemaking sign. So freestanding placemaking sign, because we were talking about having placemaking monument signs. So these are some of the monument sign examples on that you're seeing on this, and I think it's also in your packet. So just to give you an idea how it would look like.
And these are examples of freestanding signs. So it's something that's not defined at the moment. We have blade signs, monument signs, and wall signs, but we don't have freestanding signs. So we wanted to share that and see if we wanted to add some standards for placemaking freestanding signs.
Like the signs at the farm.
So the question is that do you want to add a freestanding sign category under placemaking sign?
Again, I'll give you an example, although it wasn't permitted because we considered it art. But the sign in River District that shows the so many miles to Spokane and Coeur d'Alene and Paris and whatnot. I mean, it's
So
that is truly a placemaking sign.
Yeah.
And
it's
and
no
it did-
bigger than a regular street sign too, so.
right. And
I don't see why you would need that. But
well, so here's a question. So if you were to have some interpretive, historic signs about some of the historic areas and whatnot, you would potentially want to have a freestanding sign.
okay. And so don't we already have standards with respect to signs?
We don't-
But
Not for freestanding signs.
Not for freestanding signs. We don't have freestanding signs, in,
yeah,
oh, I'm sorry.
no, but I think it was pointed at me.
We're both doing it.
Yes.
Sorry.
And so do we want to allow freestanding signs?
Again, with.
A freestanding sign as a placemaking sign. So that's the question. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think yes.
Yes.
I'm seeing head nods.
Why not?
Okay. So that's
Okay. So you
standard.
Yes.
so we'll add standards and it would be another category under this
Yep.
placemaking sign. Okay, great. Let's go scroll down. So we have eliminated the gateway sign because now it's like you have placemaking signs, so you don't need a separate city gateway sign anymore. So we deleted that. And then these are temporary non-commercial. So we're on page, which page, Michelle, it is? Page 67.
Home stretch.
Yep.
Yeah. So we have questions for you. Duration of the enforcement. So the first one is the A-frame sign, whether the duration through 65 days look okay to you. And then all of the others, yeah, so yep. The stake sign, now it's 150 days, and then we had deleted the temporary signs, something that we had discussed already. So just to bring that to your attention.
We came up with the 150 based on election cycle. So, okay.
Yeah.
Thought we just talked about temporary banner signs being 60 days in a calendar year. Now is this a different?
No, so
These are different.
these are different. These are different. And so again, we could certainly do something different than 180 days. But again, people make political statements with banners. And so the question is, would we be limiting their free speech? And arguably, it should at least be the same as what the standards that we have for other signs that could be, the temporary freestanding also has to be 150 because that's potentially, but I would say that temporary banner should probably be the same because that is a category of sign that could be used in a similar manner.
So they should have the same category, same
Time.
restrictions as in the commercial type.
All of them, all three of those should be 150.
Okay, so we'll just match that, yeah. All right,
And I have one
Any-
more, on this that I want to ask the question. So when we
Yeah.
go back to the temporary freestanding sign, we have it at 16 feet now. Should we have the same standard?
Yes,
In terms of.
based
upon arterial versus.
Right.
streets.
should be the same.
okay. That changes, okay. All right, any other discussion on this table?
No,
No, okay, let's move forward. Let's go to A-frame sign. So these are something that we had discussed under the commercial category, that A-frame sign not be placed within 30 feet, but that was the commercial with business frontage. So wanted to make sure that you wanted to have it's not gonna be business frontage, but do you want that 30 feet separation here as well? For non-commercial?
I think we
Yeah.
should have it should be consistent.
should be consistent, yes.
Yeah, yep. Okay, so
And
let's
sorry,
move
I'm just gonna scroll up and make sure that we covered all of any changes in here, which I believe that we did, but yes, okay. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. And we deleted that section. You had seen that before, but now we are into stake sign. So the duration is gonna match with the other. I think we also talked about duration matching between A-frame and stake sign as well. Because they're almost the similar size and
So I
so,
think
yeah.
it's a little bit different with an A-frame than a stake sign, in terms of the duration, because it's more of an investment. Again, if you think about commercial A-frame signs, they're gonna have them 365 days a year. We just want the registration renewed, or they're gonna have it at least all their open days. Maybe it's only 280 days, but. So we should, again, non-commercial should be consistent with commercial, regarding the type of sign.
As far as the duration goes. So in this table, we have 365 days, but that should be changed for A-frame, and then stake has 150 days. Okay,
Stake is fine, but the A-frame
stake is fine.
should be the same as what it is for commercial, which is.
Commercial, okay.
360.
So we'll change, Michelle, then we will change the A-frame sign from 365 up
No, I
above,
think
yeah.
I think that we keep the A-frame at 365 for non-commercial and commercial.
That's,
Okay,
thank you.
okay. All right, let's go down. Temporary banner. So we had one discussion here. So a temporary banner sign registration with a required submittal documentation. No, I think it was the duration that we wanted to discuss. Yeah, correct. So it's 150 days that yeah. And temporary freestanding sign, temporary sign. Okay, so that's, yeah. So that will change. We have discussed the 1632. Okay, I think that's all. Those are the ones. Yeah, yeah, so those are the call outs that we wanted to discuss. We didn't have any additional items. I didn't have anything on my list either. Do you have anything to add into this document?
So what I'd like to do is I'd like to just share we have some stakeholders in the audience, and I'd like to share what I think the next steps are going to be, and then invite you all to come up if you feel that you want to make some comments now.
So you're gonna put citizen comments up, move it up a little bit.
This is a workshop.
It's a workshop, and
Yeah.
as we've been
bad.
workshopping it, we've allowed.
Okay.
stakeholders. So our intent here is that Burke will go back and they will clean up this, make the changes that we've discussed and clean it up. One of the things that we want to do as a staff, and I'm looking at Lance because he's the guy who's gonna do it. And, we want to get our sign permit applications. We want to review them against the code, this code, to see where the problems are, where, if it works, if it doesn't, if it's clear, if it's not. So, I mean, that's gonna be a critical piece. Sue's also gonna be looking at signs from a code enforcement perspective to say, okay, if this code was in effect now, is how I enforce it clear? And so we want to do a little testing of this. We also want to, once we get the feedback, we also want to go back to the stakeholder group, and we want to engage them a little bit. And make sure that they have, I think that we want to give them another bite at the apple and then bring it back to planning commission. So we're gonna put a pin in this for planning commission for a little bit while we work through these things. And we'll be bringing something back to you. And I think that staff's also going to be looking at opportunities to streamline this. So, with that, I wanted you to know the context because you may have some comments that you want to share now. You may want to wait until you have kind of the iteration that we think is that we want to, we've addressed all those issues first.
Hi, Phil Champlin, Executive Director for Hub Sports Center. I want to say thank you. I appreciate the process and being able to provide input and what makes sense for our organization. And that you all are taking those comments and working through them as you have with other community members in this whole process. So just on behalf of our organization, thank you for allowing us to have some input. And that's something that would benefit our organization. So thank you.
Keep up the input.
Evan, do we have anybody online that wishes to speak? Any of our stakeholders online?
I see one like Tony Lopsy, but I don't know.
Well, I believe he's a sign guy, so you might want to, Kelly, if you're online, can you let Evan know if you're interested in speaking? Kelly, there you are.
Nancy has something.
Yeah, step on up.
Come on up. We'll
Sorry,
get you in a second, Kelly.
I was hiding back there. I'm actually wearing my Hub Board of Directors badge, and I was here to support Phil and the changes you're making that's going to greatly benefit the Hub. So again, thank you. But while I was here, I'm listening to stuff. I have to erase this for right now and put on my other hat, which is chair of the City of Liberty Lake Parks and Arts Commission. And I was had a question about the definition of murals. Because if I'm understanding it right, I don't know if that can come up on the screen or it's on page 8. And under mural, if it's in red, does that mean it's part of the definition now?
Yeah, we've changed it. And the only reason we have mural defined in the sign code is because up front in the beginning, we say that governmental flags and murals are not regulated by these regulations.
Oh,
so, but because we say that, we want to be clear what a mural
Yes, it
is.
doesn't contain a logo or the, yeah.
yeah. I mean, for example, we have the mural at Pavilion Park of the carousel and all that. And at the very bottom is the artist's name and the artist's website.
That's not that. Yes, that's
Okay.
yeah.
But that's not a logo or a trademark
Wait.
version. That's
No.
It's not a commercial message. It's just an
Yes.
acknowledgement. It's a signature of the artist.
And I know we've also talked about adding a QR code to give someone looking at a mural more information about the history of Liberty Lake would be an example. And then the other thing is we're getting sponsorships now for some of our projects. So say a bank or whatever would want to sponsor it. We might want to put something like that at the bottom.
Under the sponsorship.
That's still allowed.
SPCU on all of the wraps.
Yes.
Some things, I think that's still allowed.
Yeah, and any sign that's under 4 square feet would be considered incidental and not
Oh,
regulated.
yeah. I mean, none of these are going to be Okay, so we don't have to worry about recognizing a sponsor, and I suppose that could also apply to the hub if we put something on the side of a building and put
Right.
something like that. Okay, I just had a mild panic moment, so thank you for listening.
And again, our intent was exactly the opposite of your concern, was to make sure that we weren't gonna wade into that area and that people were gonna be afraid to put murals on their building walls.
Right,
or
because
whatever.
we're going down that road on the Parks and Arts Commission, so
That's
thank you,
awesome.
appreciate it.
Kelly, did you have any feedback for us?
Not on this one. I'm listening. I'm waiting for the housing portion. So thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so
So with that,
do we need, are you looking for an action from the,
no, this was just a workshop.
just a workshop? Okay.
So, thank you, Michelle and Onisa. We really appreciate your hard work on this, and we'll circle back with you.
Thank you. Thanks for all your input. We'll get back to you.
All right.
Bye.
I know.
So I guess, so now we go
Thanks.
to the housing element.
Yes, the housing element, and I want to give you, I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to share my screen
What's
and
MFTE update? What is MFTE?
so that's what, so
Okay.
that's what I'm going to do.
Okay,
So, one of the few tools in the toolbox of government to help encourage and promote affordable housing is a multifamily tax credit. And so it's an incentive. Now there's, and it's a program that's established by the state. We would have to set it up. We'd have to set up the parameters, etc. It can apply not only to affordable apartments, so that it's a misnomer now. It can also apply to making single family home ownership affordable, and it can be affordable through a variety of different means, through either the multifamily tax exemption, which would extend to the property owner, or it would also apply to possibly units where the land is held in a land trust to maintain ongoing affordability. So City Council was approached to ask if the city would consider doing putting forward a multifamily tax exemption. And we workshopped it with City Council. They were very interested in it. We talked about some areas where it may make sense to do it, including some of the more mixed use districts like River District, or the areas where we have multifamily going in order to ensure that a certain percentage of them would be affordable. And it could be anywhere from low income to workforce housing. And so, but that's how the program works. And it does provide for a tax exemption for a period of time to make that the homes more affordable. Long story short is council is very interested in it. We are going to be reaching out to both some nonprofits, but also some for-profit entities that develop affordable housing, to try and figure out how best to structure the program. There is a lot of there are several different levers that we can place. We have to define where it's located, etc. City of Spokane has been doing it for years. When I was planning director for the city, we actually updated the MFTE program because nobody was really taking advantage of it, because they didn't take the time to actually talk to the not-for-profits and the for-profits to figure out how the program could be structured to actually incentivize them to do it. Yeah.
Question,
Yes.
would Ohana be eligible for this?
In fact, Ohana is the entity that had
Okay.
brought it up to City Council.
Thanks.
And so anyhow, long story short is that City Council charged Kyle and I to do the legwork and to come back to them. Now, we can't actually do this until we hit 15,000 population. That's one of the stipulations of the RCW.
Did you say
But
50,000?
15,
No.
1-5. So we're close. But so we're looking at kind of working through the process next year and the following year to try and get it in place for, we're looking for, some folks that are interested in doing that, that we can kind of structure some pilots around. And Ohana is one that we would be looking, to do that with. So anyhow, long story short is at the end of this, when council said, yes, we want to do this, come back to us with more. I mean, so there's no definition to it yet, other than the fact that they're very interested in doing it as a way to try and promote some affordability in this community, recognizing that what you all saw as we went through the housing element, that our biggest challenge, our biggest challenge is frankly that we're limited on the affordability of housing. Anyhow, long story short is that they did give a thumbs up to adding it to our goals and policies and our implementation strategy in the comp plan. And so I have some red lines for you that I wanted to share with you before we update this and publish it. And on our website, it's still a working draft before I sent it to Commerce for the voluntary compliance review. And so we added this as under goal number 2, enhance housing availability and affordability for all economic segments of the population. On page 4, we added this. Developed and implement a multifamily tax exemption program to encourage the private sector to create more affordable housing opportunities. So that is, we've added that as a policy. And then at the very end of this, we've beefed up our implementation chapter actually, because when I went to add it, as Amy pointed out, well, you should list all of the strategies that we've identified. And so I beefed up our implementation chapter just a bit. And so if you go to page 27, you'll see the, oh, I'm not sharing my screen. I thought I was sharing my screen. Forgive me all. Online.
So
My Zoom.
I don't think we have a 27. How far do you want to go?
26.
Oh, yes, okay, so this is, okay, I've got I have a page thing going on here with mine.
Okay.
But on the last page,
The last.
housing implementation
Oh,
strategies.
there we are.
And I seem to not, am I on Zoom? Let me see if I can share this. There we go. There we go. It's not big enough, but.
It's fine.
So in addition to recognizing it as a policy that we intend to implement, a program related to multifamily tax exemption.
So I have a quick question.
Yes,
You said the city of Spokane has implemented,
yes.
Yep.
have developers taken advantage of that?
They have actually, since they.
Well, let me say it differently. When I say take advantage of it, I mean is that they're getting the tax exemption, but the housing really doesn't, it's not effective to get, to become affordable housing opportunity.
It is now, and they are getting takers on it. In fact,
Let me ask it, is it effective?
it is effective, and in fact, with the restructured program, they expanded the areas with the restructured program. Actually, Greenstone is actually doing some affordable housing in Kendall Yards.
Okay.
And we also see some in the downtown sector. In fact, some of the work that has been done to convert unused office to apartments.
Well, I would hate to see, it's probably not applicable here, but I know other communities, corporations have taken advantage of this this tax exemption. They go in and they do gentrification. The existing housing stock is demolished, and those people then are left with no place to go.
That's actually not, that actually is, the way this can be structured and the way this is intended to be is that it's to provide for a mix of affordability. So it's only a certain percentage of the units need to be affordable and whatnot. And that is to have more integrated income levels. And to not create that, the old school,
Tenement housing.
yes, tenement housing, yes.
Okay,
So again, the intent is to do exactly what we talked about in our comp plan, is having integrated income levels within our community.
Lisa?
Yes.
Does this program, this tax exemption program, need to be tied to an inclusionary housing ordinance?
So it will have those components within it. We're not going to be mandating, inclusionary affordability, and in my experience, that doesn't work very well.
Right.
But what we're doing instead is incentivizing inclusionary housing. And the standards for the program, I promise, we'll be bringing it back to you guys. We haven't done the legwork. We haven't defined what it looks like. We will bring it back to you. Planning Commission will have a bite at the apple.
So not mandating, to Charlie's point, but incentivizing.
Yeah.
So it's not mandating.
Not, and yeah,
Question, this tax exemption goes to the property owner? Or would apply to the property owner, I should say?
Again, different structures depends, but yes, it applies to the property owner, but they have to keep
pass
it.
it along.
They have to keep it, yes, they have to keep it affordable, and they have to, like, part of the program is we're gonna have to be checking the affordability every year. The levels are established based upon the median area income and what affordable housing is for this region. And they're committing that they're going to keep that in place for 12 or 20 years.
And
And the amount,
pass it along.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, so, and we'll be
That was my point.
verifying, we'll have to verify that every year that those rents are actually held there. The same thing is true for affordable home ownership, so. Again, it's really clear that in the affordable home ownership programs, that by definition, the owner's gonna benefit from it. But there typically are some mechanism to keep it affordable in perpetuity. So there may be some limits when they sell it. They'll be able to get a reasonable rate of return on their investment, but it'll be capped so that it stays within an affordable.
So this would run with the land, in other words.
Yes, potentially, if we structured it that way. But again, the exemption, the tax exemption itself is only good for a period of 12 or 20 years, depending upon the structure, the number of percentage of affordable, what affordable categories are in there, et cetera.
And the only thing that the city can impact is its portion of the property tax, obviously. Meaning whatever, 0.88 right now, or I think I heard last night we're going down to 0.85 next year or something like that. So we're talking about that portion of tax.
That's all we have control over.
That's all we have control over.
But the county,
The county.
is there
Yeah, yes, and so, and I.
County
have to look at it.
cooperative?
I don't know if it applies to school district, I don't know if
Okay.
and it's been a long time.
Well, that takes the best, to me, that's where the real money is.
Exactly.
On $1 million house, you're talking about $900 a year. Everything helps. I get that.
Right, but, and so I believe it applies to some, I'm just not sure, like, if it applies to the school district. Again, I haven't done the legwork on this other than to just high level look at the
Sure,
RCWs.
thank you.
And again, years ago, too long for my memory. I was involved in trying to revamp the cities.
Well, that's part of the challenge of that type of program is that you'll have citizens requiring services. And then the services have to be subsidized by everybody else that's paying the tax.
Yeah.
exactly?
So, and, you know, if that's what the city council elects to do, that's what they elect
And
to do.
it's, again, it's not gonna apply to everything, and it's not going to,
It'd be interesting to see what it applies, like schools would be a big one.
Anyhow, so I want to
Okay.
share with you the red lines in this chapter, specifically the housing implementation section. That the city intends to develop and implement a multifamily tax exemption program to incentivize the private sector to create more affordable housing opportunities and future housing projects. Again, details TBD. The city will continue to monitor and evaluate the progress of the development of our projected pipeline of housing types affordable to all income levels within the city. The city will assess our progress in reducing the percentage of cost burden households within the city within 5 years of the adoption of this plan. That's mandated anyhow. And we'll consider adjustments to development code and programs intended to promote the creation of more affordable housing as may be warranted. And this is all kind of just trying to set the table for the Commerce's review of our housing element. But I really think it's exciting that the city is interested. There are not a lot of tools in the toolbox for a city of our size, and this is one of the few that really is available to us and that is manageable. So again, that I just wanted to share that with you, and just see if there were any questions or concerns. In terms of what the program, the MFTE program will look like when we bring it forward, I will be bringing it back to you all to get some feedback from you before I take it.
Yeah, I'd like more information.
This is 2 to 3 years down the road.
This is.
We gotta be at 15,000.
Be at 15,000. Some of the legwork, and I will likely be reporting back to you once I get some of the legwork and we start to kind of figure out the skeleton of what it looks like, to get some feedback, but probably not until we get through our development code.
Who measures the population up to date?
Oh, so it's based upon our state's official population, and every year on April 1st, I have to fill out information about the number of housing units, the type of housing units that have been built in the last year, how many have actually issued COs, how many still.
So it's a yearly update.
It's yearly update, and then plug it into the formula, and is based upon the household population size for the type of unit, number one, based upon our census figures. And it is also the occupancy rate is also applied to that. And that's again, based on the economic censuses. And so long story short is then they calculate it and they come out with our population estimate takes effect. Typically it's July 1st, which is the start of the new state fiscal year, and everything from taxes, etc. Our population right now is 14,110. Salute.
As of April 1st.
As of April 1st, that's correct.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's all we had on that. So
what are we doing then with this section?
So I guess I would ask, if you have, again, we haven't done a formal adoption of this, but maybe a motion that this is, to take this forward to, post it as our working draft on our website.
Yeah.
To send around to Commerce.
So moved.
Second.
Well, I'm sorry, I have one question. I don't recall. I have no questions with respect to the stuff that's mandated. But in the recommendations, the very last recommendation, I can barely read it. But temporary or short-term rental program, we talked a little bit about that. And so what are we talking about there? Refresh my memory. The very last item.
Got to get there, I'm sorry.
Okay. Explore temporary or short-term rental programs for transitional housing options for specific groups.
We're not approving anything that's not mandated, Jim. That's
Yes.
just in there.
I understand that, but that's a recommendation that we're going to go forward with.
No.
And no,
Yeah, so the concept.
That's not what she asked.
So the concept
I'm sorry.
is we don't allow short-term rental. And so having a program,
So you want to explore that?
we
Mhm.
want to explore it specifically in that context and in a very limited and.
So not for VRBOs and that kind of thing.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay,
I have one question or suggestion. I read through this and the state in its infinite wisdom has now passed a statewide rent control law. And that should be mentioned in here. Its impact on affordability and what it could do to the marketplace. And it's not. Just
doesn't that apply to certain size of municipalities?
I do not believe it applies to us.
at
I'll look
at
at-
what point would it apply to us?
I can take a look at that.
Could be mentioned.
Just find out.
15,000.
After,
Just for the record, that happened after we wrote this.
yeah.
Okay, which we're gonna have a lot of, but I will make a note of that.
So we're looking for a motion to,
We have a motion. and a
We
second.
have one and seconded.
okay,
All in
Move it
favor?
along.
move it along, so. I know, so I'm gonna throw it out to a vote.
Call the vote.
I call for a vote.
Okay, all in favor?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, sir. Motion is passed and we can take along to council then.
Yeah,
Good
so,
job, Jim. Good job. Good job.
so secretary's report, just a couple things,
Citizen comment.
oh, yes, I'm sorry. Here it is. Citizen, any citizen comment?
It was one.
They're so happy. They can't believe it.
That's right. The guy that was on.
Kelly, did you have anything you wanted to share with us? He is still there.
Nope. Again, was just listening as to what you guys are doing on that housing portion. So appreciate it.
Appreciate your being here.
Thanks.
Okay, moving on to secretary's report.
So at our next meeting, is the Parks Plan presentation. I will say that I will try and get a first cut of the transportation red lines and policies. But I'm up to my eyeballs right now in appeals and requests for extensions on the reasonable use exception for Legacy Ridge Phase Abbey, so.
Phil.
It's the entire neighborhood, yes. So just trying to, so I will do my best. That's all I can do.
Okay. Any planning commissioner reports?
I have a question. Did we ever excuse Commissioner Chairman?
Oh, good
We
point.
did not, and I was having technical difficulties and
Okay, so do we have a
Move
motion
to
to,
excuse Commissioner Chairman from today's
Second.
meeting?
everybody in agreement, say aye? Aye.
That was all for me. Thank you.
Thank you. So anything else? Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second,
Second.
everybody in agreement? Aye.
Aye.
Adjourned.
Yeah.
I never agreed.